Today's episode is with a serial entrepreneur whose mission is to create successful platforms to help people reach their dreams. He has founded various businesses in design, construction, and tech, all the while mastering the lean startup mentality. He's an author, speaker, startup mentor, although his titles don't do him justice for the passion he has and the energy he brings. One of my favorite people and coolest entrepreneurs around. Moe, welcome to Failures and Beyond.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you for having me.
welcome. Thank you for joining us. I
Thank
know
you for
that
having
you're such an interesting entrepreneur because you've tried so many different businesses, and that's exactly why I want to have you here, because you have huge experiences to share. You started and been involved with so many different businesses. I want to know, what was the reason why you chose entrepreneurship?
Well, that's a very deep question.
Why
Why did I choose it? I think I would say entrepreneurship shows me. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense.
I feel like it was a part of me since I was very young. Was always dreaming of just making things happen. If that makes sense.
So let's go right into it. What has been your most challenging experience so far on your entrepreneurial journey, and what did you learn from it?
There's few, I would say, because if we talk about how hard things can be, then I have a story for that. If you talk about financial, then I have a story for that. But I think that there is few things that you need to be clear about, and I wouldn't really give just one answer. I'll give few points.
Sure.
In summary, in entrepreneurship, because you're so into your business and your passion and your dream and trying to do so much, most of the time you forget the principles and the main basic elements that you need to take care of as a business, because it's a business at the end of the day. And that comes to at the very start, the partnership, who you have around you, because you could have the wrong people around you and you wouldn't really realize, and then you would realize that a little later when it's just gonna be super more painful to deal with. So that I've been through any point that I'm stating now, I've been through it. So I'm just not talking about it theoretically. I'm talking about practical life. What would be tough in entrepreneurship? I would say get your numbers right, get your legal side right, and think about your team, think about who your partnership with, and really think about how things can be when things go south and when things go bad. And always expect the worst and just be a little bit prepared for it. If it doesn't happen, happy days. If it happens, at least you're prepared. It's not just gonna break you. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm surprised, because life is unfair. So what? You know that. You know it's a business. You know life is unfair. You know everyone is about business. Everyone trying to do what's best for them. Then do the same for yourself, and just do yourself a favor and be fair for yourself as well.
Knowing what you know now, what would you have said to yourself to do differently when you started your current businesses?
I think I would just go back to legal, finance, know your numbers, know your legal rights, say everything right, set the business model right. Always take your time when you hire, and don't take your time when you fire. Just say it, hire slow, fire fast. It's an absolute golden, I think, advice that I would give myself. Entrepreneurs, I don't know when it became cool to be an entrepreneur. It was just something happened. I mean, there was a shift. I mean, even I don't know if it was 2019, 2000. Everyone was, maybe after Corona, everyone's trying to be an entrepreneur, and I think it's a shift in economy that causing that. But in the same time, because I like to believe that I'm an entrepreneur in heart, so I'm very protective over the definition. And I think if you have not, or if you don't have the gut to go broke over what you do or what you like, then you're not an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Because The right definitions. I mean, if you Google it, it would be like you have to take risk out of your money to do something. I mean, that's what entrepreneur
This
is.
is exactly what I Googled it because I saw that there are a lot of people who are interchangeably using entrepreneur and business owner and this and this. And I'm like, I specifically categorize them differently because they are different.
Yeah.
The role of a business versus a startup is different. The role of an entrepreneur versus a business owner is different. You have to ultimately be making money. Otherwise, it becomes a nonprofit organization or a hobby or whatever it is. But the way you're making the money, the principles you're employing to actually do that are different. Entrepreneurs are risk takers. That's how you differentiate them from the get-go. And they are supposed to be creating new ideas, new initiatives, new concepts. There's something new that they bring to the table. But like you said, the main core of it is they need to be comfortable in their uncomfortable situations. So they have to be okay with things not looking perfect on paper, not having the whole business plan written out like you would do if you were running a business. Everyone asks you for a business plan.
I'm not going to look at a business plan. I want a one slider and I want an MVP. I want something. Like if you didn't have the time to put on a landing page and tell me what do you do, or put 10 slides in PowerPoint together and tell me what do you do, and you expecting me to listen to you just because you wrote me a text and it's in your head, I know that you're not going to do the next move. It tells a lot about your personality.
I think it's about having skin in the game. This terminology it's going around as a buzzword, yes, but it's ultimately you've got to believe in the thing that you want other people to say yes to.
Yeah.
How are you going to get that belief? You need to start showing what energy, what effort, what work you've done for people to even understand the concept. What do you advise the ones who have a good idea, but they don't know where to start? Where would you tell them to start?
Well, they have to start with you or without you. I mean, if someone doesn't know how to start, that means at least he has the idea together. Maybe he doesn't know a part of, this is like few verticals, right? That you really need to understand. You need to have, if I want to put it under 4, I would say the team, the idea, the market, and the revenue model, right? Maybe. There is a lot more to that.
Sure.
I mean, there is competition and all that will come under the revenue model because it would affect it. But if you have a strong entrepreneur, because some people are very smart, they know how to sell and they don't know what, and the idea is very bad, or it's the other way around.
But they're good salespeople.
Yeah, and they're very good salespeople, and they would make you listen to, and that's very good, right? That's a talent, and that's a skill, and you would be able to listen to them and actually have a coffee and give them time, but they have a very not the best idea. Some of them the other way around. They sitting on a brilliant idea. They don't know how to sell it. And the other thing is like the idea is good, the guy is good, the revenue model is bad. This is where you can advise, right? Because he has a good idea, a good guy, but he just doesn't see how it can be sold.
Yeah.
What did I say? The four parameters. I say the business model, and the market.
Yeah.
Maybe he's selling in the wrong market. So if he comes with at least like an idea for that structure, then this is where you can help.
It's workable.
It's workable. And if he doesn't have one of them, then maybe. But I think it starts with the team, right? The team is you cannot just change the guy, tell him go bring someone else who can run the business for you. If he's not a right fit, then this is not a right fit. But anything else, maybe around this 3 other elements, you can work around it. You can change the revenue model. You can change the market. Maybe he's trying to sell it here, and the right market is in Cairo. Maybe it's in India. Maybe it's a Western thing that he's trying to sell it in Middle East.
Sure.
It's that. And maybe the revenue model. Maybe he's selling I don't know, like a small ticket, and it's actually a high ticket product, and his financials doesn't make sense just because he's too cheap.
Yeah.
He's trying to sell it cheap, but it's still people would just like buy your product for $100, but you're trying to sell it for $5. You don't even know, So if we look at things or a business from different angles, then we can help, at least advise or like trying to make it or test and see where what is the part that can be improved and take the business as a whole.
I want to know, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Because I'm sure you've understood what they are. What do you define them to be?
Well, I know them too well. That's very interesting that you say that. I remember having a close friend of mine who told me something that I would remember. It was because it was like 15 years ago, right? He told me every 5 years I look at myself in the mirror and I found a new person. He said it takes me that much. When I'm 20, when I'm 25, I look at this 20 years old version of me and I think it's just a completely different person. And then when I'm 30, and then when I'm 35, and the interesting part, that because I remember this conversation, I feel like entrepreneurship, and just because it's very tough and it's just like a roller coaster, it's not like a normal train. So I think those changes accelerate, and I think you discover a lot about yourself in a shorter period of time. You'd be like, what did I do last year? Like, that was crazy,
Yeah.
It's not even 5 years ago. So yeah, talking about the weaknesses, the weak point and the strong point. Here's the interesting part. I think you can have some character that can be applied in both. And I'll tell you what's mine. For example, I'm a flexible person, right? My flexibility make me able to communicate. I would like to think that I'm a good communicator, so I know how to communicate with people. I don't get upset very quickly. Like, I would just be super cool and do this and that and take it. Like, I gain people trust, and it helps me do a business, right? And it helps me create team that like me. But also flexibility, when it gets applied on the other side of delivery, or like being on time, because now your personality, like, it's human being is just like very interesting, because if there is something that in you need to know when to unlock it, and when to, if you forgive, for example, you need to forgive in the right times. You don't forgive in the wrong times. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
Because forgiveness is an amazing thing to do, but don't use it against yourself, because it would hurt you. Because if it's that little door, if you open it in the wrong time, you're going to get hurt so bad.
Yeah.
So you need to know when to use it. So my flexibility is my strength and my weakness. And I'm always learning how to make it work on the right side, not the wrong side.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm actually working on a lot of things. And when you say you reflect and you know things about yourself and you discover, I'm trying to always develop, because I have a lot of reflections, and I sit down out of situations in business and in life that makes me very upset. And I sit down and I'll be like, when I sit with and I talk to myself, I try to realize and put it in very certain, like, and clear points, when things went wrong and why. Was really very, like, unfair to me. Maybe I was the wrong one. Like, when you do those practices and, like, be isolated from all the noise, and this is where you'll be able to learn, because we get upset about people and situations, and we are the wrong ones. Sometimes
I think that only comes up when you ask yourself those questions, because it's very easy to blame. And usually human nature has designed us in a way that we blame externally. So we'll blame the economy, we'll blame that person, we'll blame our partner, we'll blame the supplier, we'll blame the client. We're very good at blaming everybody else. But
100%.
it's ultimately taking accountability and ownership for your part in that whole process. And that comes with maturity.
Yeah.
It comes with some level of, you know what, just taking the ego out of it and just being yourself, not feeling weak to say, I messed up, I made a mistake. I didn't see that one. I dropped the ball. Whatever it has to be, however intense it has to be, getting to the point where you're okay to accept that something you did was not correct. That's a huge level of maturity that requires you to get there. And again, I totally resonate with what you said, that your strengths are ultimately at the same time your weaknesses. So the best advice that you've received that has helped you?
Well, to never stop. I think
Nice.
never stop. Yeah. There is another advice that I took it from my coach. I remember like he's saying, take care of your body will take care of you. And he would repeat it so much that me and like my team players would remember it, because when we played American football, and it was like a tough sport, and then when you play, everyone is trying to crush you, and it's just like a tough sport, right? So everything that you do before this game or this battle, everything that you give your body, if it was practice, if it was food, if it was enough hours to sleep, it always, like, your body will stand next to you when at that time, at that very moment when you push in another guy's like 200 pounds and try run over you. Then if you take care of your body will take care of you. Take that and apply it to anything else.
Yeah.
Take care of your business will take care of you. Take care of your family will give you love and whatever. Take care of anything, because just give.
Yeah.
It's about like giving. When you give, you obviously start getting the fruits of what you planted.
Yeah.
So that
like
will
that.
be one of the best advices. Take care of this, but I would apply to every other segment.
That's a really good way of looking at it, because I also think there's a lot of people who, while they're working on their business, they forget about themselves, and your level of mental well-being, physical well-being, emotional, spiritual, the whole full 360 approach. You forget about it because you're so busy thinking, I need to make sure that the business is thriving, I need to make money, I need to be profitable. But if you forget about yourself, who is going to work on the business?
Yeah.
There's no way out. So I think that concept of, make sure that you focus on you, be the best you can be the strongest you can be the fittest and the most aware you can be, then you can show up and create the best business, the best startup, the best whatever it might be, because that's so important. I love the fact that you've just used that theory and you put it against everything. So lots to look forward to from you. There's always new ventures coming from you. I know that every time I'm reading up about you and I'm searching what you're doing, there's always something new, and you're always, trying new concepts, putting yourself out there, which I think takes a lot of courage. Not only does it take bravery to come and share the things that didn't work out and what your learnings have been, so thank you for doing that, but you're definitely someone to watch.
Thank you.
I definitely will be watching to see what you're doing in the future, because you're always creating new things and you love to create, you love to connect. So that's ultimately what you're doing. You're connecting ideas with what can happen in reality. And I love to watch what you've got coming up.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mo. Thank you for the time. Thank you for sharing your insights. If you want to know more about Mo, make sure that you reach out to him. We'll also be his Instagram handles and all other social media platforms that you can reach out to him. Make sure you follow what he's doing, because he's always creating new and exciting things. And make sure you also follow and subscribe FabDXP podcast, because there'll be far more exciting things for us to share with you coming up soon. Thank you. Tasjil.ae are the fastest growing UAE domain and hosting provider. Exclusive only to FabDXP subscribers, benefit from 50% discount on their hosting services by using the promo code FabDXP. Just visit tasjil.ae and you can elevate your online presence.